No, stop right there. We're not gonna do this. I know what you're thinking. If you've been on Twitter and Instagram the past, let's say 6 hours today, you probably have seen the big Vancouver Canucks rumor that has been circulating around via the Spit and Chicklets podcast, and I'm not going to address that in this video. No, we'll leave that for tomorrow. Today, instead of talking about the doom and gloom and the ridiculousness that is that individual rumor, we are talking instead about some good things. Good Vancouver Canucks news that has gone under the radar for some. For others like me, because the games are so gosh darn early in the morning, I have not had any opportunities to watch these live. I do watch the replays though. Today we're talking about Vancouver Canucks Swedish prospects at the World Juniors, because when it comes to the big three, they've gone out there and shown off some pretty good things so far in the early showcases of the tournament. But in particular, what I wanted to focus on was the main man, the guy who scores all the goals, the guy who has pretty much redeemed himself from a pretty bad Draft Plus One season last year. Today's central focus is going to be Jonathan Lekkerimaki, who, at the time of recording this audio, has been one of the most productive players on Team Sweden. In 2 games played for the Swedes, he's got 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 total points, which is good because you actually realize that he didn't score for Team Sweden against Team Germany. However, in the first game against Team Latvia, this is where Lekkerimaki came alive with 2 very brilliant snipes down the middle. I'm not going to use the clips because they're copyrighted material, but Jonathan Lekkerimaki is scoring some goals at this tournament that really just embody the profile that he has as a player. Being able to just walk in and shoot from distance, being able to capitalize on any and all space he is given, finding the corners at the top of the net, just making brilliant snipes repeatedly. These are the types of goals that made Lekkerimaki stand out as a draft eligible. These are the kinds of goals that he stopped scoring in his Draft Plus One, and they're the kinds of goals that we're starting to see more in spades as he has recovered from mono, he's fully healthy, and he is being given bigger roles. In fact, here is the analysis done on Lekkerimaki from the Latvia game the other day. This was written out there by Stephen Ellis on dailyfaceoff.com's top standouts for Team Sweden versus Latvia on December 26th. This is what he writes about in regards to the Canucks 2022 prospect. Lekkerimaki struggled at this tournament in the past, but today's game felt like a good effort from him. He drew a penalty and then scored 8 seconds into the ensuing power play just for good measure. Lekkerimaki then scored with just over 5 minutes left to make it 6-0, and his overall game has taken nice steps forward over the past year. I thought Lekkerimaki looked especially aggressive in the neutral zone. And these are some of the things that he has been expanding upon too. His pace of play off the puck, how he attacks opponents when they're coming the opposite way. Lekkerimaki has really rounded his game out to the point that now, it's difficult to try to project where things go. We didn't think that Brock Besser was going to be as good as he is this year, so if you continue seeing Elias Pettersson and Besser and the power play positions they're at, plus JT Miller, plus Quinn Hughes, plus maybe Kuzmenko, then once Lekkerimaki is starting to hit his stride, where does he slot in? I know it's a good problem to have, a lot of good players on a team, but for now, Lekkerimaki is showing off so much more as to what made him a top pick in 2022, rather than the recovery and the slow growth that we saw out of him last year. And just noting the offense that we're seeing too, it's adding a really good layer to everything here. In fact, here is Daniel G's tweet from earlier today. Per Mitch Brown and Lassi Alonen, World Junior prospect tracking for today's games, Jonathan Lekkerimaki relative to his teammates had the most advantages created, which was 13, the highest expected goal buildup, the highest shot contributions, and he was second in overall game score and board to middle pucks. There indeed was a graph posted of December 28 World Junior games, and you can see that Lekkerimaki is one of the top players in all of these categories, which includes all teams, not just Team Sweden, but in totality. You can see that, for example, right here, the game score, 5v5 only, Lekkerimaki was 5th overall behind Philip Bysted, Louis Fulliman, Frank Nazar and Jamie Snuggerud, who are 2 great American players. Then for expected goal buildup, in 5v5 situations, Lekkerimaki was number 1 over everybody else today, pretty much besting some of the top prospects too. Frank Nazar and Cutter Gauthier, both very good players as well. You have yourselves the boards to middle puck category, where Lekkerimaki was one of the best in this category too. Essentially, what all this means is Lekkerimaki has been so good that even if he's not going out there scoring a hat-trick a game, his overall contributions, what he's doing for Team Sweden, how he's able to facilitate play, they're all so positive that he is the most positive player, or one of the most positive players, that we are seeing at the tournament in total. This is a really good step up from what he had accomplished last year, because when you think about it, I mean, Lekkerimaki had 4 points in 7 games played last year for Team Sweden. This year, he is on pace to matching that in half the amount of games, if not even fewer than that. And he's not even the only Vancouver Canuck who has been playing on Team Sweden and who's looked pretty good. Both Elias Pettersson and Tom Willander are doing very good things as well. And to help us out with that, we're going over onto this article on The Province from earlier today, published by Mike Raptis. Canucks prospects at the World Juniors, Elias Pettersson promoted in the win over Germany. The article starts out by talking about how Petey, the bigger Elias Pettersson, the defense one, is actually in a good spot too, because he started the tournament on the third pairing, but he was given a plum first pairing assignment against a plucky German squad earlier today and calibrated his game accordingly, going a +1 and a whopping 23 minutes of ice time to help Sweden earn a 5-0 win. He was a minutes-eating monster, and this article then talks about a lot of the efficiencies within his game, the shutdown ability, how he had to work his way up to getting better minutes with the Swedish squad, and how ultimately he proved worthy of being given those assignments. The article then talks about Lekkerimaki, how even though he didn't score any points against Germany today, he weaved his way through the German defense with some slick hands and setting up Noah Östland's shot, which clanged off the crossbar. He then had a quick steal at his own blue line, but was stopped by Bittner on a glove side shot. There were a lot of opportunities for Lekkerimaki, and the ones that were posted on Twitter kind of go out there and summarize it all. Even the shots that go off the post. The guy has such incredible torque on his stick. He's been looking awesome. Just go onto Twitter and look at all the quotes. You then had yourselves Tom Willander, an analysis done on him. He skated in 19 minutes of ice time against Team Germany, getting a +2 and serving as a relief valve much of the time. The article at the end says that they'll be back with more Canucks prospect coverage on Sunday for the final Group A game between Sweden and rival Finland. Now, the next game for Team Sweden is actually going to be tomorrow on the 29th against Team Canada, so it's going to be, 10:30 a.m., I think, here in Vancouver, so if Canucks fans, y'all want to watch the Canucks prospects play, then you have to get up a little bit early, unless you're like a normal human being and waking up at 9 a.m. anyways. I'm not. I wake up later than that most days. But either way, there still has been some great coverage for Vancouver Canucks prospects in Team Sweden, and Lekkerimaki leading the charge, just being such a beast, is something that I think a lot of Canucks fans need to look forward to. Because it's been a while, really, since the Canucks have had a prospect that is this good at this World Junior Tournament. I mean, if you take a look in the past, Olli Levy was alright, but he wasn't a Canucks prospect when he dominated the World Juniors in 2015-16. Elias Pettersson was okay when he played in the World Juniors. Quinn Hughes was alright too. It's been a while since we've had a stud actually go out there and take charge. Not that Lekkerimaki is top-of-the-line #1 material anyway. I mean, if you take a look at the point scoring race in the World Juniors, Lekkerimaki is in a really big tie for 12th overall in points. But, of course, when you take a look at how Lekkerimaki's been playing, there's been such significant improvement that it's difficult to ignore that. Either way, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks prospects for Team Sweden, Lekkerimaki, Pettersson, and Willander. How have you felt about the way they've played so far? If you've been watching the games, what are your opinions on their performances, and where do you see them going as the tournament progresses forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.